Welcome back, everyone. So Steve, how about you let us know, and the audience of course, where are we currently standing?
Right now we're standing on the civil ramp. The civil ramp is used for parking general aviation aircraft and for parking the airliner when it comes in.
And civil versus?
Military?
Yep, there we go. Okay, and that's right over here. Same size or so? Or?
Well, the military ramp is probably 4 times the size of this one.
Oh, wow.
Probably even larger than that because they have to park those huge transport aircraft down there, so it's a much bigger ramp.
And what about some of these operations behind us?
Well, we have our fixed-based operators like Aviation North and Aviation Express. They do things like fuel sales, they can repair aircraft, minor repair of aircraft, even do detailing. Aviation North has a hangar where that's all they'll do is if your plane, just like your car, needs a good thorough cleaning, they can do it there.
And this is probably also where Odin does some of his work, huh?
Odin does most of his work out on the runways and taxiways, but he has been known to take a beauty lap around here just so people can see him.
Oh, of course. So I think one of my biggest interests is maintaining this area. I mean, you said it's over 9,000 feet of runway.
Oh yeah, just on one runway.
Right.
There was a study that was done by the Michigan Department of Transportation, and they quoted that 3/4 of an inch of wet snow on all the runways and taxiways equates to 2.1 million tons of snow that has to be moved. And it has to be moved quickly because the airliners have to get in and out. We've got the freighters that come in and out for FedEx and for UPS. They're all on a schedule. Plus any of your general aviation people, they have to get in and out as well.
So I guess it would be simple to say that delays, and especially in the wintertime, there's just so much to deal with, right? That delays will definitely maybe occur?
Well, delays will always occur. Normally, we don't have any issues here with the airport being closed, causing a delay. You may have weather systems in between Detroit and Alpena that are causing a delay, or as so often happens, when the aircraft leaves New York to go to Detroit, there can be weather in between there that prevents it from even getting to New York, so of course it's going to be late here.
So do you plan for overstaffing and things like that? Do you get extra help out here, when you are trying to clear the runway and things like that?
Alpena Ground Services, we've got 4 employees for Alpena Ground Services. So the majority of the help that we get comes from the CRTC. I've got 2 plows, 1 blower, and 1 broom. And the CRTC has got 6 plows, 2 blowers, and 2 brooms. So they can really move a lot of snow, and they help us out a lot in the wintertime.
So how about some of the technology that takes place out here? I see a lot of different products that I guess I don't really know what they do. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the advancements that are out here?
Well, Alpena is really well equipped. We've got what's called an ILS, an instrumented landing system. And there's 2 sets of antennas, one at one end of the runway, one at the other. One's called the glide slope, and the other one is called the localizer. The localizer will tell the airplane if it's lined up left and right, and the glide slope tells it if it's coming in at the proper angle to land. So even in bad weather, the ILS will help the pilots land safely.
Wow, that's really cool.
That, and we have precision approach indicator lights, we have a VOR, there's lots of nav aids out here.
So do we have a watchtower, or I'm not sure, is that what you would call it?
An air traffic control tower?
Yeah.
Yes. The CRTC has the air traffic control tower.
Okay.
They also have the radar approach control. So they're the ones that during their business hours, they take care of all the traffic coming in and out. And what some people don't know is that even when an airplane is on the ground, the air traffic control tower is still talking to them because you have to have a ground controller to make sure planes don't run into each other while they're taxiing on the taxiways.
That would be a good thing,
Yes.
absolutely. So do you think this partnership really equals out? Do you think there couldn't really be one without the other?
If we didn't have the CRTC, besides the snow removal help that they give us, they also provide our crash rescue. So they've got 7 or 8 pieces of equipment there that if the unfortunate should happen where we had an aircraft that crashed or slid off the runway, they would be our first responders. If one of the buildings caught fire out here, their fire trucks would be the first ones here.
So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the safety drills that you do? I think you do them with the CRTC, right?
Oh yes.
Do you want to, I know there's been like chemical spill safety, you even just had a mock
Active shooter.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Well, the drills are designed to keep everybody trained up for any eventuality. Unfortunately, things being the way they are, we decided to have an active shooter scenario for this year's exercise, and we're probably going to do that again for the full-scale exercise next year. You have to have one every year to keep yourself certified, and it's basically a crawl, walk, run. The first year, it's basically a tabletop one. The second, it's more or less a walkthrough with limited participation. But next year is going to be the full-scale one where there will actually be fire trucks and ambulances responding. The police will respond because everything has to be checked for time, too.
So is there anything really out here that you guys are looking to upgrade or advance, just like you kind of are with the terminal inside?
Right now, the airfield is pretty much where it needs to be.
Good.
Once we get the new terminal in place, then we can start talking about other things.
So overall with operations, how would you say things flow? Do you think you guys have a good setup for the most part, just looking forward to completing the terminal project?
Yeah, that terminal, I hate to keep going back to it, but it is going to be such a huge improvement for the airport. It's going to be so much easier for the passengers, it's going to be better for the airlines, it's going to be better for everybody.
And I guess just kind of bringing it back a little bit to the enplanement numbers, how are those going, and are you confident that you're going to make those 10,000 and see that grant money?
Well, this year we didn't do so well. We had a schedule change that was, let's just say it was slightly mishandled, and we really did lose a bunch of enplanements. So we're probably not going to make the 10,000 this year. However, Senate Bill 239 did get passed with the FAA.
It did.
Yes, it did.
That's awesome. Okay.
So if we don't make our enplanements this year or in fiscal year 2017, we'll be allowed to use our numbers from fiscal year 2013, and 2012, and we had 13,000 enplanements that year.
That's great.
So for the next 2 years, we're all set because of Senate Bill 239.
That's awesome. And was it a Michigan senator or anyone who kind of pushed that along?
No, this was at the federal level.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. It'll definitely help this airport and probably smaller airports around us, right?
Yeah, that's the name of it, was the Small Airport Relief Act.
Oh, that's great.
There was a huge downturn in air travel for the last 4 years. So the regional airports like Alpena were really getting hurt. So the federal government actually stepped in and did us a huge favor.
That's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. And thank you so much for talking about the operations with us here today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Awesome. And be sure to stay tuned next week for another edition of Insights.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.